morning sun, I got no work today. You might find me up on the bayou or over in the ocean bay. Might be fishing on a mountain stream or a lake down in Tennessee. Might as well grab your fishing pole, come and go along with me. We going fishing, boy, ain't we a lucky dog? We going fishing, Jimmy, ain't we a lucky dog?
I have been anxiously awaiting the arrival of my new Coosa FD. That FD stands for foot drive kayak, and finally I got that dude in. I got it all rigged out. I got my power pole on. I got my Dragonfly 7 Ray Marine on. Got my cup holder in there for my soft drinks, and I'm ready to go. I got my rod and reels ready, and I'm ready to go. And I actually took this out on its maiden voyage yesterday and caught 32 bass out of it. The first day I've ever used it, caught 32 bass out of it. And so today I'm going to go out here and see if I can catch a few more. Now, I was fishing a different lake yesterday, and you know, you might ask, why in the world would you be fishing a different lake today than where you caught 32 yesterday? And my answer is, well, I don't have an answer. I don't know why I'm not fishing that lake. I never thought about that. I just planned on fishing this lake today, and I caught the 32 out of a different lake yesterday, and I don't know. We might end up at that other lake before the day's over. I don't know. Let's put this thing in water, and let me show you how it works. A foot drive Jackson kayak. Great. Absolutely great. Let's go catch some fish. Come on, let's go catch them. There's a fish. I caught all those fish yesterday on a spinnerbait. I fished this one out here for an hour, and the first bite I've had. Not a very big one either. Come here, guy. At least you're a fish. First bite I've had. That's the best bite of the day so far. That's the largest bass of the day so far. I got me a little RC2 crankbait tied on. I'll throw it too. I think I can get up this creek a ways here. Drop it down pretty low to catch that one. Yes, sir. Dropped it down pretty low. It's another little bitty rascal. I think I'm going to get off of that dang spinnerbait. Yeah, I believe I'm going to get off of that spinnerbait. You know, yesterday I was fishing a different lake, but yesterday I got up in the upper end of a big bay, which is kind of what you want to do. You want to follow the shad this time of the year, and they'll usually start moving to the upper ends of pockets. They'll usually start moving to the upper ends of creeks, so you can go to those places, and if you find shad there, then you'll usually find bass. And that's what I did yesterday, and I got up in an area, and there was a lot of grass, but there was a lot of shad up there, and the bass were just bulging. They were eating so many of those shad. And there was a lot of them, and all I was doing just simply running the spinnerbait up in sometimes really, really shallow water. They'll chase those shad. They'll chase them right up on the bank. And that's just an awfully good fall technique. Our water temperature's down to 58 something, 58.8. Yesterday it was 59 and a little bit of a change. It dropped just a little bit more during that cold night. But follow those shad, get up in the upper ends of pockets, the upper ends of creeks, and you're usually in pretty good shape. Now, it hadn't worked today, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull out and try a little bit deeper grass with some crankbaits. I got a little RC3 square bill tied on. I'm going to go out there and try cranking a little. I dropped that bait down pretty slow to catch that fish right there. It just seems like the fish may not be up shallow where I'm fishing like they were yesterday. Follow the shad, follow the shad. There's one. That's a big one. That big deep crankbait, big smoothie. If I can keep him out of that tree, that's a big fish. Oh, that's a big fish. Got him out here in deep water now. That's a giant. Oh, it's a giant. Holy cow, look at that fish. Holy cow. Goodness, look at the size of that giant. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. I got him. Holy cow. Look at the size of that fish. Holy moly. Oh my goodness. Oh, I've been all day out here and I've caught a bunch of little old fish and no big ones. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh, golly. That's a giant. Look at that fish. Look at the size of that fish. Holy cow. Oh, the fish says I can't breathe out of water, Jimmy. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Oh, where's my needle nose? God. Gotta get that bait out of that fish's mouth. I lost my needle nose. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Golly. Can't stand it. Oh my goodness. Woo. Golly. Oh. Look at the size of that fish, will you? Oh my goodness. Look at the size of that. Boy, she's hooked. That fish is way up there. I mean, like maybe pretty close to 10 pounds. Not quite, I don't think. My goodness. That's a 9+ right there, sports fans. That's a good one there too. Bigger baits catching bigger fish, notwithstanding that 5-incher I had a minute ago. That's a big fish right there. Oh, let me pull my kayak around. That's another big fish. Where are you going, guy? Got that big, deep smoothie in his mouth. Open your mouth. Ah! Woo-hoo-hoo! There we go. There we go. Lucille. I'm telling you, this is a deal where we're doing exactly opposite at what you think might happen. That's about a 5.5 or 6 pounder right there.
Well, I'll tell you, they're down there, but there's so much stuff, you cannot, look at there, my Roadrunner wasn't, I mean, I've got 6 foot of line out, and the water's about 2 foot deep right there is all.
This portion of Jimmy Houston Outdoors has been brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Jimmy Houston Outdoors, America's favorite fishing show, is brought to you by Tracker Boats. Call 1-800-TRACKER today. By Mercury Marine. Go boldly. By High Seas, when the money's on the line. By Ray Marine. Don't just go fishing, go hunting underwater with Ray Marine. And by Shell Rotella, the engine oil that works as hard as you do.
There it is. Wasn't much. This might have been this one I had bought mine might have been a bass. Act like a little small bass hitting it.
No, that's crappie.
Whatever it is, I got him. No, it's a crappie.
Oh, 2 crappie.
It's a crappie.
We got a
Lake
dub.
Eufaula today in Oklahoma. There's a Eufaula, Alabama, Eufaula, Oklahoma. And this is what we're fishing for, big old slab crappie. That's a nice one right there. Josh caught one out of the back of the boat on that cork. He's using a cork at a minnow. I'm using a Roadrunner. Oh, yeah, that's a nice crappie right there.
I got a Roadrunner.
I know you have a Roadrunner. I'm just ragging you. We might even bass fish before the day's over. Throw some spinner baits around. This is an awful good lake. I fished some BASS tournaments here. Finished in the top 10 in about every one of them. Finished second. There's another crappie. Finished second and won. And guess who beat me? My old buddy Roland Martin. He was first and I was second. He beat me by 12 pounds. 12 pounds. 12 pounds. And I was 14 pounds ahead of third. So if it hadn't been for me, we doubled up again. And Josh has got one too. Eufaula allows, that's a good one, 37 crappie each. So we're actually allowed 74 crappie today. 74 crappie. I'll be filleting half the night.
only going to get better.
Yep, as the day goes on, more and more fish are going to come into the bank like this one. I love it. I love it. Now, these are not giant crappie. You fellas got big crappie in it. And it's got jillions of crappie. Here in Oklahoma, we have a plethora of rules concerning crappie, depending on what. You catch that big word, Josh? Plethora. We have a plethora of rules on crappie, depending on what lake you're on. On Lake Tenkiller, where I've got a house and where I've got several businesses, on Tenkiller, they have to be 10 inches minimum. You can't keep a 8 or 9 incher, which you probably shouldn't anyway. But and you're only allowed to catch 15 a day. So the two of us would be allowed 30 crappie. Now here on Eufaula, there's no length limit. You can keep any crappie you catch if you want, and the limit is 37. So the two of us are allowed 74 fish. 3 people fishing are allowed 101. And Josh guides on quite a few of these lakes. He lives in Tulsa. He guides on Keystone and Skytook here on Eufaula, Okmulgee Lake, another little lake not too far from where we are right here, right now, just right down the road, as a matter of fact. And he mostly just crappie guides. He tells me he's a good bass fisherman. Well, let me put it this way. He's not a bad bass fisherman. But he tells me, he said, I don't like fish tournaments because I don't like pressure. So he said, let's go do a TV show. That's pressure right there. What are you doing wearing a golf hat out here at a fishing show with Jimmy Houston?
Well,
What's
I was
the
hoping
deal?
you'd bring me one.
Huh? Why don't wear hats? It'll make your hair fall out.
Well, it's too hot to wear my orange
That's
beanie.
the biggest one of the day right there so far.
Female.
That's a big old female there. She was out a little bit
They're
too,
in
wasn't
here.
she? Yeah,
I figured it'd be too hot to wear my orange beanie today.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be 80-something. He hit pretty far down. It's the same little spot where we caught a couple earlier today. We came back to it. That's one of the things that you want to do in the springtime in particular, because you don't do it anytime crappie fishing because they are school fish, and so when you catch one, there's going to be more there. A lot of times those great big ones will hang out singles on just one piece of brush or something, and you might catch one, not anymore, but these fish are all coming up to spawn, so they're all wanting to get involved in the party, and so if you catch some in an area and then you quit catching them, maybe you catch 2 or 3, you missed one there, didn't you?
Yes.
Maybe you catch 2 or 3, maybe you catch 4 or 5 or 8 or 10. You just continue, you circle around, go back, fish that same place again. Now we caught 3 here is all we caught earlier today. Now we've come back here and caught a couple, 2 or 3 more and missed 2 or 3 more. And this will happen all day long. What's a nice fish right there? That's a good crappie right there.
Pretty.
Mm. We're working on that 37 apiece. That was in between, wasn't he?
I think it was farther out, actually.
In between. It was in there pretty close, but it was in between those 2
10-inch
sticks.
fish.
Yeah,
He'll
in
eat.
between those 2. Usually those bass don't hit that thing hard, but he hit it hard. Oh, little feller. I'm looking for crappie. He said, I'm looking for something to eat.
He was in there.
I'm talking shallow. That fish was right on that stick.
And he was swimming like a striper. Pretty fish.
Yeah.
I guess she was swimming like a striper. I threw there 3 or 4 times.
Jimmy's Look Back is brought to you by Duracell Marine RV Batteries. Start strong, troll long.
Looky here what I caught, Bob.
Uh-huh. How about that? There you go.
I'll tell you. A big old crappie. That's a filet mignon of the fishes right there. That is some quality eating stuff. He come out there and grabbed on that spinnerbait just like a bass. I mean, just jumped all over that thing. And fought just about like a bass, too. In the springtime, when those crappie move in on the bank, though, they're pretty good fighters. Come here, get out of that tree. Oh, I believe this is a good one, Bob. Get out of that tree, baby. Come here. Come here, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, they're strong. My goodness sakes alive. God, Lance. He's trying to take my reel and rod away from me. Come here, sugar. Come here now. Oh, yeah. That's a good fish.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that one.
4.5, 4 pounds.
Yeah. About 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
Good fish. Boy, they are strong. Go back and grow up, baby. Oh, here now, tree. Get him in there, Bob.
Yeah, he's not too shiny, but I'll pick him up.
Oh, he ain't bad. Nice little fish.
Yeah.
Get a little cloud cover in. If we get that wind to die down here before dark, I believe we'd get us another big one or two.
I think so.
Oh, there he is.
Jimmy's Look Back has been brought to you by Duracell Marine RV Batteries.
Probably a really good spot right out in front of that log. Big
That
old
crappie
crappie.
that just jumped.
Yeah, right in front of the log. Yeah, buddy. Come here, pal. That's a male there. And he's out in pretty deep water. That's about as far away from the bank we've caught one. Thought it might be a bass. You don't get any sugar booger, you're a boy. A boy crappie. Caught that on a black and chartreuse. That's how much line I had out right there.
That's
How
crazy.
much that is. That's about 7 foot of line. That's what I had out.
That's a nice one.
Oh, that's a good little crappie right there. Not bad.
He'll
Old
taste
fish gonna be
good.
proud of me tonight. She told me the other day, she said, you need to quit going with old Josh. You don't ever bring home no
Ah,
fish."
man, I believe it.
You believe she said that, don't you?
Well, the way the last 2 trips have went.
Well, I tell you, they're down there, but there's so much stuff, you cannot, look at there, my Roadrunner wasn't, I mean, I've got 6 foot of line out, and the water's about 2 foot deep right there is all. And all I'm doing is just moving it around, and I hit and I get hung up, get it loose, get hung up, I got it. Get hung up, get it loose, and he tried to jump out of that box.
I saw that. I don't blame him.
Somebody fishing off the bank right down there.
Nice ones.
It's a male there. Just, you know, you don't have to have a boat, although it helps. In fact, a lot of times what we'd do on 10 killer is we'd park our boat and just walk down the bank, you know, and it's just a lot easier to, you know, like this little area here would be a hard area to fish from the bank. You can fish it off one of these docks right here, about like what we're doing here. I got my power pole down.
Unless you want your feet to get cold and wade out there. Just at the top of the water.
I
Ooh,
snagged
that's
that
a
one
nice
too.
one.
One of the secrets in catching these really big crappie like that one right there is to wait until whomever you're fishing with gets hung up in the brush. And then when they get up there trying to get their bobber and their Roadrunner back, it gets you up really in the good spots where you can get right down in the brush and catch them. And you didn't leave the live well open. That's one of the techniques
bad.
that I use all the time.
Well, there you go.
So there's one right there. Small one.
He tastes good.
Small one. I'll count one, right?
That was way out, Jim.
Yeah, well, that last big one I caught over there was pretty far out.
Jimmy Houston Outdoors is brought to you by Lucky Strike, where preparation and opportunity collide. By Jackson Kayak, Advantage Fisherman. By Orion Coolers, never lose your cool. By Soft Science, supreme comfort footwear for the angler. And by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Houston's Helpful Hints is brought to you by Jimmy Houston High-Tech Performance Fishing Rods.
In the fall of the year, I've said many times, it's all about chasing the shad. And generally, what you're going to do on a day like today, you got cloud cover, you got wind, it's been cloudy 3 or 4 days, you're going to get back up in the pockets and find some shad and fish spinnerbaits and little small crankbaits around those. today it worked, but it just worked for little small fish, and that was all. We couldn't catch any big ones at all. So we did something exactly opposite, and you know, let me tell you, you know, you say it's opposite, but it'll really work. You know, you find you some deep water, find you some water 10, 12, 15 foot deep, and some ledges, some brush and cover, something down that deeper water, and get you a big crankbait and go deep. Big crankbaits work outstanding in the fall of the year because, again, the bass are looking for big shad, so big crankbaits will catch them. Big baits catch bigger fish. That's all there is to it. And we went down and started fishing some ledges and little deep drops and stuff like that and began to catch bigger fish. And probably the 5 or 6 largest fish that I caught all day long came on that crankbait. So even though everything said to fish shallow, everything said to fish spinnerbaits, and I caught quite a few on that legend spinnerbait, but most of them were small. They were all small, except for that last one I just caught just a few minutes ago. But anyway, don't worry about going deep in the fall. You can go deep in the fall and catch big fish just like you can any other year. Big baits, big bass. Whoa, what a day.
Well, it's late in the day and the sun's getting low. Caught me a big one, but I let him go. I sure had fun just watching him stretch my line. I made me a lifetime memory out here fishing Jimmy Houston and me. Hey, Jimmy.